Dobry den.
Dobry den.
And welcome back to Bulgaria, where we've had an interesting week.
Yeah, well, weather-wise it's been interesting, yeah. We've had all sorts of, we've gone from one extreme to another this week.
We have, and it's currently, I think, the coldest it's been since we've been here.
It's a bit chilly outside,
A bit chilly outside with a big, strong wind.
Yes.
And we have no electricity, so we're not sure if this video will go up today.
It may be late. If it's late, we apologise. It's we have no control over the Bulgarian electricity supply.
So it just depends on how quickly we get our electric back. It's been off for about an hour now, hasn't it?
Yeah. Luckily the petrol still works. It's wood-fired.
Yeah.
So we're warm, we can boil a kettle. We're all right.
And cook.
Oh, yeah.
So what have we done this week, Adam?
We did it. We finally did it.
We went to Targovishte on the bus.
Yes. And that was, it was interesting. We turned up at the bus stop around about 1 o'clock-ish, which was the time I was told the bus went, around about 1 o'clock. Other people waited, which was a good sign. And then the bus turned up, which was a largish minibus. We were the last getting on it, and we got the last 2 seats, which was quite handy. Until we got to the next town when 2 more people got on, and then the next bit another 2 people got on. So we had people standing in the aisle of a minibus, which I'm not quite sure how that was supposed to work. But apparently it's pensioner week this week, which is why we were almost the youngest on the bus.
I don't know if we weren't the youngest.
Not
there
quite.
Were definitely a couple of young lads that were younger than us.
They'd obviously got the wrong week.
But it did all work very efficiently. It got us into town and cost us pennies. I think it was just over £1 for both of us.
Yes. Here are some shots of Targovishte we took while we were in there, just so you can see what the place is like.
And as you can see from the temperature shot, it was a wonderfully hot day.
We had 3 days of those sort of temperatures, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. And it was I mean, it felt warmer. It felt like a British summer's day. We
were regretting taking our coats.
Yes. They came off and we wandered around in t-shirts most of the day.
We didn't come back by the bus.
No, we decided to get a taxi back because we had a bit of shopping by then as well.
And also,
wasn't an awful lot of room for shopping on the bus.
Well, it being as full as it was on the way in, we thought it might be worse on the way back once offices and shops had shut.
Yeah, I think they go 3 times a day. So there's a bus at 1 o'clock, there's a bus at 8 o'clock in the morning, a bus at 1 o'clock and a bus at 5 o'clock.
Ish, yeah.
I don't know if the 5 o'clock one goes in. It might do. It seems to do a bit of a round circuit, so...
but, we thought we'd get a taxi back.
Yeah.
That cost us £8. Pushing the boat out.
Pushing the boat out.
We also weren't entirely sure where the bus went from.
Yeah, because we did get off in a bit of Targovishte where we recognised the roads to get down to the market and to go and see our friendly plumber merchant.
Yep.
And then as we got back, because we hadn't gone all the way to the bus station, we weren't sure where the bus went to go back in the other direction.
Or where the bus station is. Everybody got off at the stop we got off of, so we assume it was the last stop, we don't know.
That's for our next bus journey. We'll discover that on our next bus journey.
Yeah. And Lynn has said she's quite prepared now to do the journey on her own.
Yeah, I think it is something you could do on your own. I was quite happy to do it on my own beforehand, Adam. It was you that wasn't.
Yeah, so we finally done it, and it wasn't
awful.
No, it's doable. And it's obviously not as convenient as having a car, but it's also a lot cheaper than having a car. So
it will certainly tide us over to April.
I think so, yeah.
And you've also been busy this week, haven't you?
Well, I've got my first brew on. Brewed it was going to be Macario Stout until I found I hadn't got the right malt to do a stout. So it's actually a porter. It's a bit nerdy, I know, but there is a difference.
Like Adam knows.
I haven't got a clue.
That's just for all the people in our homebrew group.
You guys know.
Who knows that Adam consistently entered beer in the wrong categories.
So this, I think, is a porter, but it could be an IPA, but it's not a stout.
Look, you didn't have enough chocolate malt.
No, I had plenty of chocolate malt.
You didn't have enough black malt.
That's right.
See, I do pick it up by osmosis.
She does listen.
Occasionally.
It's me who doesn't.
So yes, that's brewing and underway now, isn't it?
Yep, so that's we've done the spirits, now we've got the beer underway. Just a mead to get underway, probably do it in the next couple of weeks, and then that'll be the full set.
I think it's finding a good honey supplier, isn't it? We must have one in the village.
But I don't know if is honey seasonal?
Probably a little bit.
Don't know, but we'll find it. And next autumn it'll be rakia season. I missed it this year, but we'll see what we can do with that.
Bash at the local rakia.
Give it a go. This week I finally got round to brewing my first batch of beer in Bulgaria. I weigh out the correct amount of grain for the recipe. It can be quite a dusty job. This will then mash in the mash tun, a bit like making a cup of tea. This isn't going to be a how to brew video. YouTube's full of those. This is just me making beer. I already have water in the boiler. I just have to add the grain to it and give it a good stir. I have to currently brew outside, so days like this are a bonus. Once all the grain is mixed in, I turn the boiler on and wait for it to come to the boil. Once the liquid comes to the boil, it's ready to add the hops. You can see them just down at the right hand side. It's the hops that give the bitterness to the beer, along with preserving it and helping to fight infection. Once the boil is completed, I can transfer the unfermented beer, or wort, into a fermenting bucket, ready to start the fermentation. Once it's down to around 20 degrees, I can pitch the yeast. After a day, a layer forms on top of the beer. This is called the Krausen. This shows that the beer is fermenting and is made up primarily of yeast. I now just need to leave it to complete fermentation.
Adam got talked to.
I got spoken to by a fellow in the town centre when I went to the shop. I say the town centre, the village centre. And he spoke English, which caught me by surprise.
Left Adam speechless.
And so I was on my way in the shop as he came out. He said, "How are you?" I went, "Fine." I just carried on walking. So when I came out, he was still there. So we did what two blokes do when they get together. We talked about the weather and football, and that was that. But yeah, another English speaker in the village. Always good to find.
Though he wasn't English, he was Bulgarian.
He was Bulgarian, yes.
Who just could speak English.
Yeah, and we're trying to be the English who can speak Bulgarian. It's slow going, but we're making steps in the right direction.
We can actually read it quite well.
Yeah, I can read the words.
Well, say quite well. Probably at the age of a 7-year-old.
I think I can make myself understood. I just don't know what the words mean. So I guess that's half the battle.
Yeah, so this week we've just been pottering around outside, tidying bits up, just doing general housekeeping. Yeah. I suspect next week will be. We're due bad weather all week, aren't we?
Yes, we've got a cold week coming up.
So I don't think we'll be getting out much. So we may be back to planning how we want rooms to look when we've...
And maybe starting some of those inside jobs we can get on with. I've got plaster to chip off walls in the cellar, that sort of thing.
Again, that's going to depend on how cold it is.
Yes, if it's too cold down there, I won't be going down there. So,
and I think that's one of the things about weather in Bulgaria is how quickly it can change from being like a nice summer's day. Oh yeah. In terms of temperature, in terms of no wind chill.
That was lovely.
To suddenly a day like today, when it's absolutely freezing outside.
I think it's -4 at the moment.
Yeah, and I think it's not going to get above freezing all day.
And very windy.
And very windy. Yeah.
Again, quietish week. It was nice to get outdoors and do some bits and pieces and enjoy the weather, but. It's quiet this time of year.
Yes, it was quite. Your Google phone tracking device or whatever said that since the 23rd of December up until the day we went to Targovishte, Adam had done a total of 3 miles.
I've travelled it 3 miles in, up to the shop a couple of times, up to the factory just on a walk. But yes, I've taken my phone for 3 miles of it.
Yeah. So we haven't been. It did feel like a real adventure going into Targovishte.
Yeah.
So I'm sure now we've done it, we'll do it more often now.
You never know.
And we have got a visitor coming tomorrow.
We have.
It should be our first Bulgarian visitor.
But we will tell you about that next week.
We will. So.
Something to look forward to. So, that's it from us this week.
It is. I hope you've had a good week.
Yep.
I hope you're all safe. I hope you're all well.
Keeping warm. I know it's cold over there as well, so...
Yes, I hear you. So the parts of the UK were lower than us, weren't they?
Yeah,
Scotland,
they were. Yeah.
which is quite extraordinary.
So we want to see pictures of the snowman. I'm sure you've been building them. So until next week.
Doskero.
Doskoro.
And we'll see you then.
We certainly will. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. In the past we've mentioned the cat Major Tom, but we haven't shown him. We've had a request to see him, and here's a picture. Hopefully we'll get more of him for next week. What are we doing? I'll let you do this bit.
Okay, we'll forget all of that.